All right. Oh, so let's get right into it. Welcome to another episode of Cleats Up. Y'all know what it is. I'm your host. I'm Amobi Okugo. Obviously, for those that didn't watch last week, yeah. So this is Cleats Up. Cleats Up is. Let me break it down for you, real quick, real quick. Let me break it down for you. Yeah, so Cleats Up is a soccer show hosted by yours truly, where we give you hard tackles, questionable calls, and honest challenges on soccer's biggest topics across the globe, mainly focusing on the USA market. Sometimes we'll have guests, but for the first few episodes, I'm just trying to prove consistency, because there's been times in the past where we've done things, great ideas, but haven't followed through. So as I get back into the soccer content space consistently, we're going to showcase our consistency first and foremost, highlighting stuff around MLS, USL Championship, NWSL, other stuff across North America, mainly USA. And then I'll sprinkle in some other content. We had AFCON a couple weeks ago. Euros is coming up this month. This summer, Copa America. So we're gonna sprinkle in a lot of content around soccer. We're gonna have guests. Definitely gonna have guests. And if you subscribe to the show, it's on my personal YouTube channel. We're growing that. If you subscribe to the show, you're also going to see other soccer media type content under the Cleats Up umbrella. So we got a lot of things in the works. We're going to try to build this from the ground up. But if you want to help, that would be greatly appreciated. As you can see, very minimal effort, no background, straight white background, no interjection of edits and stuff like that. I frankly do not have the time, do not have the skills to be editing and clipping and different things like that. But I do know a lot about the game. I do watch a lot of soccer, and I do have some takes that I want to get off my chest. So with that being said, let's get into it. MLS week one, great week. I'm going to give you a rundown of the scores, and then also we're going to talk about some surprises. We're going to talk about Apple TV. I got some things I want to get off my chest around Apple TV. I'm very upset that I had to pay for that. And MLS refs, that's a new thing. We're going to talk also about the U.S. women's national team. They lost to Mexico. Some people say it's a long time coming. Some people say there needs to be change. So we're going to get into that. So let's get into it real quick. MLS week one. I'm going to list down the scores. I don't even remember my guesses from last week. So as we continue to move forward, I'm going to keep a tracker. And shout out to my guy Pete for helping me with that idea. But give me grace. We're going to start that week three. We're going to start that week three. So this upcoming week, I'm going to do some predictions, maybe. But week three, we're going to get that ball rolling. Prize picks. If you need my number, let me know. Prize picks, DraftKings, FanDuel. I don't know. I don't really bet on games, but if there's a partnership play, I can start, doing my prop or pass content. With that being said, Columbus won 1-0. Great start for the reigning champs. They're going to be forced to be reckoned with again this year. More time to gel, more time under Nancy's system. Nagby doesn't age. Morris continues to come into his own. Just a solid squad. Atlanta's good too. Atlanta, don't be surprised about Atlanta. They were missing some players. LAFC versus Seattle. That's always a good game. Two powerhouses of the West. LAFC won that 2-1. Orlando, Montreal, tie. I was actually looking at Montreal's roster. It's not a bad roster. Not a bad roster. And I do like the new coach because he came from Nancy's system. So he's under the Nancy umbrella. So I'm excited to see what they do. DC, New England, that game was a wash after the New England red card. But DC, Benteke, it's always good to start off with the win. But once they got the red card, it was all but over. Philadelphia, Chicago. So I was talking to some folks over in Chicago. They're very confident. They're very confident with their team this year. Obviously, it's early, but to beat a perennial powerhouse in the East over the last 10 years, as Philly has been, it's a good start to the campaign. 2-2, Philadelphia, Chicago. Charlotte, New York. To be fair, I personally am not confident with either of these teams, so this was a wash to me. I did not watch the game, just caught up on the highlights. Charlotte got off to a 1-0 win. I'm really happy about the young debutant, young player that did well at the U17, U17's World Cup. He is going to be a star to watch, and it's going to be wonderful to see how he progresses over the season. Dallas, San Jose. Dallas won, which was good. San Jose should be interesting to see what they do this year. And then, all right, here we go. Next round of games: St. Louis, Salt Lake. St. Louis. I don't think they're going to have a sophomore slump this year. They have a good organization, good fan base, young guys that are locked in. I don't think it's going to be an Austin situation. Obviously, Austin didn't do well their first year, but did excellent the second year, then regressed back their third year. I think St. Louis keeps that bar up to par. I think, unfortunately, Tim Parker came down with the early injury, but I think they have the pieces in place to come back. Salt Lake, 1 point from 2 games. Obviously, the Miami game, we all saw that. But Salt Lake, they're always going to be battling. Let me put it this way. Houston, Kansas City, two teams that I think are going to do very well this season. 1-1 result. Austin, Minnesota. And I'm going to get into it later. Minnesota off to a good start. They just hired their coach, or soon to be hired their coach, who's actually younger than some of the players. I was joking around with some of the players that I know in Minnesota the other day. And then Portland smacked up Colorado 4-1. On Sunday's results, Cincinnati, Toronto, 0-0. Nashville, New York, 0-0. LA, Miami, 1-1. So a bunch of ties for the Sunday's results. So let's get right into it. My thoughts. Miami. Ooh, it's so tough because Miami. Let me get into Miami real quick. It can go one or two ways. Luis Suarez is going to be a cancer to that team. I'm calling it now. There's going to be a situation where he's going to start getting subbed more and more, or he's going to start playing less and less. And it's going to be a situation that he's not willing to be a part of, or he's going to affect the other members of the team. There's going to be a situation where players struggle over the course of a season. We've already seen different teams play them. I honestly think the way to beat Miami, you just man-mark Busquets. You just man-mark Busquets. Let them play around through everyone else. Messi's going to drop deep. Obviously, he's still Messi. Like, he's going to do what he needs to do. You stop the game from getting to Busquets, and you high press in certain situations within reason. Force him. This is what you do. Force him to yell inside. And within certain moments in the game, that's when you high press. Man mark Busquets. Just make sure your 9 drops back and fronts him, or your attacking center mid just is like on his back, forces him to go square or backwards. He's gonna do some different things. Super smart player. He's gonna bring you out. He's gonna, find different pockets. Don't worry about that. Focus on Busquets. Keep him away from Jordi Alba, because Jordi Alba is able to play out the back. He's able to get up and down, force him to yell inside. It's no knock on Yedlin, because Yedlin is a great player, top player, probably one of the top right backs in the league right now. Obviously, his credentials, World Cup veteran, insane number amount of caps. But when it comes to playing out of the back, if you're going to compare him to Jordi Alba, you'd rather have him to have the ball. And because of the way they play, he's like their only right-sided option. So you force him with the ball, because if anything, he's going to play long down the line. You have the speed to battle Luis Suarez. He's not going to beat you for speed anymore. And he's not it's going to be tough for him to make that entry pass to Messi or Gressel or Gomez, who they're playing with right now. Gomez is a top player, by the way. He will be gone very soon. So if I'm a team playing against Miami, man mark Busquets, force him right, pick your moments to press, and punish the team when you have your chances. LA Galaxy missed chances. Real Salt Lake missed chances. And if you keep Miami in the game long enough, they have enough experience, they have enough skills that they're going to get 2 to 3 chances. And in more cases than not, they're going to finish those chances. So if you can avoid getting down early, because once you're down, you're starting to chase the game, and that's what they love. Yeah, it's bad. So that's my philosophy. I don't see myself coaching at any point in my life. So if you're saying, "Oh wow, you could be a coach," yeah, it will be for my future kids' teams, and training, player development training. But if a team likes my philosophy and a team needs someone that's well connected and wants a GM, I'm your guy. So what about that? Here we go. Who else? Miami. I talked about Miami. That was a thought I had. Toronto. I like Toronto. I like Toronto. I like Toronto. They got younger across the board. They can run with anybody. I like that game versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I want to see what their back line looks like with Miazga and Miles Robinson. Are they going to go 4-4-2? Or are they going to stay 3-5-2? And who's going to play the center? I'm interested to see what happens there. Yeah, what else? Oh, what else did I want to talk about? This is what I wanted to talk about. Early fires. I think Josh Wolf is going to be on the hot seat by summertime. Colorado. It's interesting to see what Colorado's going to do, but obviously I spoke out when Colorado made that hire, and there's no knock on Coach Chris Armas. Love the guy. Let me not say love the guy because I don't know him like that, but I loved him as a player. One of the top D mids. And he treated me nice when I had the opportunity to train with the club that he worked at with New York Red Bulls. So always got mad respect for him. Just respect him as a player and a coach, and just he's a good guy, really nice. Took time to treat me well and give me some advice and give me encouragement. So nothing bad to say about Chris Armas. But as it pertains to Colorado, their team is just not built for anything special. Love what they did. They brought Georgie back. They brought Zach Steffen back. They brought Cole Bassett back. They brought Sam Vines back. But nah, they need more. They need more. And if more doesn't come fast, like as in more players, it's gonna get ugly really fast. Portland surprised me. And real quick, let me just give a shout out to Diego Chara. Like, as players get older, I feel like he's like Benjamin Button or something. Like, he's still just as fast as he was when he first came into the league. He's smarter. He's just and he's just a great human being. Like, if you can find someone that says something bad about Diego Chara, then something's wrong with that person. Because I've met hundreds of players, and when you talk about people that you respect in the league, Diego Chara comes to mind. Obviously, he fouls like crazy, but it's never like a dirty foul. It's just how he plays, aggressive, always near the ball, always about that action. Just a great guy. And if you think about the players that, when he first started and like the top demons that were in the league, Alonzo, Beckerman, Dax McCarthy, who's still in the league, right, by the way, and still plays at a high level. Damn, who was else? I mean, he was around when Mastroeni was still playing, when Daniel Hernandez was still playing. Like, who else? Was Charlie Joseph still playing? Nah, but there's been some top D mids that have been around, and obviously some of them were on different different ages when they were all playing, but he's still playing, and he's still playing at a high level. Injury, not injury, basically injury free. If we knock on wood, he's like, you think of Diego Valeri, Sebastian Blanco, Leon Ridgewell, Borchers, Drewsbury, all those guys, Nagby. Obviously, Nagby's on a level of his own. And when you talk to Nagby in terms of like favorite players that he's played with, Chara's first one that comes to the list. And obviously, they have a great relationship. They played together for quite a number of years, but like, we got to give him his flowers. He's played at a high level, at a consistent level for a very long time. And if Portland were like, once he retires, he definitely deserves a Portland Wall of Honor statue, whatever it is that they do in Portland, a slab that's like laminated, whatever they do in Portland, he deserves one of those slabs. Also Valeri, also Ridgewell, and there's countless others as well, Nagby as well. Let's not forget about him. But Portland, they got off to a good start. And I, for one, am happy. I think their back line is going to do real well with Kamal Miller and Zach McGraw. That's going to be a tandem that I'm excited to see. And I think it could be a future tandem for Canada. Obviously, Victoria, I'm mispronouncing his name. He's on the upper end when it comes to his age. And Zach McGraw, who just recently announced like his commitment to Canada. I'm excited to see that back line. And I think if they continue to gel together, it would be smart to keep them as that back line for Canada's national team. So those are my thoughts. Those are my surprises. Those are my insights for MLS Week 1. Let's get into MLS refs. So MLS refs, there's been a discussion because MLS and the Refs Association are kind of at odds. They've been locked out. And until they get to an agreement, that MLS sanctioned refs will not be reffing any games. So we have some random refs. I don't want to say random refs. And really quick, shout out to all refs. So growing up, I was a ref. It was the way I made money. It was actually like my first job before I actually went pro. So like when they think about like jobs, usually like people will do like summer jobs at the grocery store or whatever, ballet. Reffing was like my job whenever I had free time. And so I always had a respect for refs. Like it's an unappreciated position. The job doesn't happen without y'all. And it's a grind. So respect to all the refs out there, and hopefully everything gets situated. But as you continue to get to a higher level, the refs can make or break a game. And obviously we saw there's some backlash with some of the reffing decisions that were called or that were made over this past weekend. One obviously being the red card to Marky Delgado, great player by the way, played a long time in this league, for a tackle that he made on Busquets. And these are moments that affect the game. Obviously, could it have gone to VAR and they checked it and different things like that? Yes, but the ref situation needs to be handled immediately, because even Miami and LA, they tied the game, but you can see Messi after the game went straight up to the ref and kind of berated him. So we don't want to see more situations like that. There were other questionable calls over the course of the week. On Sunday also, the Sean Davis thing obviously got handled, and it was great that VAR stepped in to make sure that the call in question was reversed. But if this situation doesn't get handled soon, there's going to be more and more issues, and it's going to affect points, it's going to affect games, it's going to affect results, and ultimately it's not good for anyone involved. But shout out to the refs for subbing in, and shout out to the refs or any ref that's doing what needs to be done to help the game of soccer grow, and the game of sports, because refs, whether it's your umpire, basketball ref, football, whatever. So shout out to y'all. And real quick, if you are a club youth director or working youth sports, I highly recommend, this is what I would do if I was a technical director or GM or president of a youth soccer club. I would make every kid above U15 sign up for ref classes. Not only will it help them understand the game better, it will help them have an appreciation for refs as well. It will help them build a side hustle that they can do to make money on their own, whether it's gas money, whether it's food money between games, whatever it is. I think those three things alone are more than enough reason to do that. Then also I would implement a rule, because parents be acting crazy these days, that anytime something happens to the detriment of a team, like a parent cussing out a ref, parent doing something crazy, whatever it is, you are required to take ref classes. You have to be a ref. You have to become a ref. And that is, I know some clubs do like volunteer hours to make up payments or you're required to do a certain amount of volunteer hours for the club, those volunteer hours go to reffing games. And I think in order to understand the nuance and what it takes to actually be a ref, and the fact that you got to be fit, you got to be alert, you got to know the game, you got to understand the flow of a game. It's not an easy task. I think it would better serve soccer players, soccer parents, soccer liaisons, whatever may have you, to appreciate the game more. One of my coaches, Peter Nowak, he always used to talk about like positioning on the field, and he's like, follow the ref. They always have good positioning. And it was weird because Coach Peter was like a mad scientist, like two smart for his own good in some cases. But when you think about it, a ref is always like at a certain angle so they could be away from the play. And he was like, when he was playing, that's what he would do. He's like, in terms of my positioning, I was like to think of myself as a ref where I can see the game, but I'm also away from the game so that when I get the ball, I have time and space to make my moves. And if you know Coach Peter Nowak, look him up. It's one of the most lethal left foots in MLS ever. Like, ask anyone from like late 90s to early 2000s. Like, yeah, he was that guy. So to take advice from him and get that advice was always made me look back to my moments when I used to ref. And then obviously as I played my position as a center mid, just from a positioning angle, what can I learn from a ref and how they angle themselves to make sure that I'm better positioned on the field in when I played. So that's it. Let's close out. We want to be on time. It's not meant to be like an hour-long episode. It's kind of just me rambling. So some of you may like it, some of you may not, but we're going to keep showing up until you all like it. That's the plan. So, and we will continue to get better and continue to iterate. Trust me. We got help on the way. Apple TV, we got to talk. We got to talk Apple TV because there should be no reason why I am paying for a subscription. The fact, and not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but as a former MLS player, and it wasn't like I just had like a sip of coffee. I played for quite some time, over 100 games, over 100 games. What we doing? Can we get like a code for few former MLS players? Like, why am I paying for a thing that I was part of? Who do I got to talk to about this? Who do I got to talk to up at MLS to make sure I can get my Apple TV reimbursed? Because I paid because I was watching soccer. Some of the games worked without my MLS season pass. Some of them didn't. I'm not trying to be the friend that asks other friends for their MLS password because they use it for other things. How come I am not an Apple MLS season pass holder? Last year, you gave me one. Last year, y'all gave me a pass. Was it because y'all was trying to get promo before Messi came? Now Messi comes. Now we all got to pay. What's going on? Please let me know. I know I could, now that I'm doing this content, now I'm going to try to make this a business. I can make it as a deduction. Yes. But no. There's some things you shouldn't pay for. There's some things you shouldn't pay for. And that's just my rant. That's how we're going to close. Thank y'all for tuning in. Cleats up. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back next week. We're going to get the cadence down in terms of time as well, but please subscribe. Please like, review, share. More content on the way within the soccer umbrella, but also on the channel as well. We're following the Cam Newton model. You got, he got Funky Fridays. He got 4th and 1. This is our 4th and 1. Cleats Up is our soccer media empire in waiting. So hopefully y'all tune in and we'll continue showing up. Appreciate y'all. Over and out.